Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Wesker, and we are
Welcome,
here.
Wesker, to another fantastic episode of the Dead Air Dudes podcast, which now we're going to review the reboot slash, no, it's a straight reboot. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. Raka?
All right, so this is the live action movie of the Resident Evil video game, the iconic video game. Capcom's one of their best out there. This was an undertaking. It takes the video game storyline as close as has ever been done.
Yeah.
To the big screen.
To interject one thing, I did not expect this movie to be as, all right, it wasn't 100% accurate, but to have enough to the point where the director had Capcom send him or send the production company the blueprints for the Spencer Mansion and the RPD police, station. So it was meticulously crafted as much as they could.
I will not sit here and claim to be the world's most expert on all things Resident Evil.
But
I'm close.
And in all truthfulness, even before this movie, well, actually the movie was announced, Rocket started playing this game again from the beginning with his son.
The original.
Exactly. The original. Resident Evil, which is one of the movies this is based upon. Also Resident Evil 2, but not so much. There's like an amalgam of both, actually, kind of.
Actually, and a tidbit of 3.
Yes, well, Rocco would know since he is the Dead Air Dudes Resident Evil expert. So take it away, Rocco.
I have watched all the animations. I have watched all the Resident Evil movies with the Mila Djokovic lineage.
What, 12 or 12?
All of them.
I think all
24 and counting.
And you played all the games.
And I played most of the games. To be honest, as you get to 4, 5, 6, it gets a lot off the beaten path.
But everything based off basic Wesker and Redfield and all that stuff. You played the majority of them.
I can tell you this, of all the Resident Evil universe, this keeps the most close to the original storyline. Obviously, they had to take some liberties, and then they tried really hard to merge timelines.
Yes.
Into one. Anyone who's played the game, anyone out there listening who is a hardcore fan of Resident Evil knows and has watched the movie, knows there are some iconic scenes. There are iconic scenes from the video games that they did not leave out.
No, they lifted straight up.
Which is pretty awesome. The very beginning scene of Resident Evil is the body in the body bag in the autopsy room, which is the ending, which was awesome.
Yeah.
We'll get into the subtle differences and then the big differences. But for the most part, there's some iconic scenes like what I just mentioned. When the first time you open the doors to the mansion, you enter the mansion, you see the mansion, which is like you spend 75% of the first game in the mansion. They have it there. They have them crash land and get into the mansion and you see the whole landscape. Resident Evil 2, when the truck, the fire truck, the fuel tank truck rolls over, bitten by an infected driver and explodes in front of the RPD police department. And you see the lobby of the police department with the background statue. It's all there.
Yeah. And they actually explain, because you would think, why the hell does a police station have a freaking, thing in the middle? Like art installation right in the middle. It used to be an art museum before.
Exactly. And for you who have played it, and we both played it when it first came out,
Yep.
we used to have Resident Evil parties. We
Yeah,
used to have we
yeah.
used to have walkthroughs. I know we're dating ourselves, but there was no internet to go find out how do you solve this puzzle? How do you put these together?
If
It
you
was
wanted to
trial and error
cheat,
deep into the
you
night.
had to go to what? To Funk? Was it Funkoland or was it game? Was the GameStop even there? It was I think it was EB and Funkoland. You had to go and pick up the book. And if,
EB, Funkoland, and even Barnes and Noble.
yes, and if the book
I
wasn't there,
would go read through the walkthrough, memorize what it was because you didn't have a phone with a camera. Memorize or take notes and then put it back.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
And because we were all stumped, how do we solve this? How do we get out of it? The iconic characters, the music, the doors opening. When you get to the mansion and you see the doors and you see the artwork and you see different things in the mansion, the secret tunnel. I mean, I have to say, they did their due diligence.
all right.
They didn't skim out.
Let me ask you this much. Start from the beginning. What do you think of the cast and the actors who play them? Like Chris and Claire Redfield, who, mind you, in the first game, it's Jill and Chris, not Claire. Correct?
Correct.
In the sequel, or Resident Evil 2, it's Leon and Claire.
It's Leon and Claire. The first one is Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, and the iconic absence of note is Barry. Where's Barry?
And Rebecca Chambers.
Yes. So there's a ton of omissions. I get you can't put everything in there, especially if you're adding things. I get, and the time. Actually, I was a little disappointed that it was a rather short or average length movie, 107 minutes or so. This could have been. This is one of those things where it's a mistake, in my opinion, to make one movie. I think it would have been better served as an episode, as a series.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. This would have served better as a series. 2 movies would have been too much. You're talking about 4 hours, and it would have
right
already.
If you did 35 to 40 minutes an episode, 5-6 episodes, you get a lot out of it.
Of course, you can really delve deep into the obviously
backgrounds, the
we're going
backstory.
Spoilers here, obviously of Birkin, which you know what's crazy. Years ago, when I thought of the Resident Evil movie, they were talking about it. Neil McDonough, who played William Birkin, was my choice to play Wesker.
Yes, I could see that. The blonde hair, the eyes.
I mean, obviously he's older now, so I get it. They use the guy from Umbrella.
The Umbrella.
Yeah.
Which, ironically.
Touche.
Yes.
I think it's been working out even more than before. Jeez.
Oh, he looked pumped. He looked jacked.
I mean, because I think in the first season his arms were a bit CGI'd, but this is like legit. He was yoked.
I think he really took the T virus.
You say T virus, I say HGH. But moving on.
Potato. Now, let's just get right to it. My biggest beef, storyline was great. Costume design, set design, fantastic. I don't really have too much. There's some changes. They start the whole movie with the orphanage, which I don't really recall being a Chris.
I think they kind of, unless there's other movies, because there were other games on the GameCube that kind of build, Code Veronica, they kind of build it more upon everything.
Lisa was there from the beginning.
I don't even remember Lisa. Was Lisa in part 1 in the first game?
Lisa was incorporated, I think, into the revision of part 1, not the original director's cut. If I could be wrong there, but
she was a player. She was a what do they call them? Like free guy, running around chasing you, but she didn't really. She wasn't
a pivotal character.
She wasn't
No,
bad or good in the sense,
no, she wasn't a pivot. She was a early hybrid mistake.
yes,
But I mean, so my biggest beef is Leon.
yes.
If you want to pick it, be really nitpicky with the choice of character, yes, I watch Disney and I watch Victorious, and I can't sometimes get out of my head that he's that suave high school character from Victorious, and he's Leon Kennedy. For anybody who
What? I didn't even
watches,
know
and
that. So,
yeah, I'm sorry, it was stuck in my head because I got this, you know, but that doesn't. That's a smaller part of the problem. The bigger problem, if you're a great actor, you pull it off no matter what your previous role is. The
definitely.
biggest, the biggest part of that I have, the biggest beef is the actual character of Leon, not the actor, where they make him to some goofball loser who's been pampered by apparently connected daddy, and he's a jerk off.
Yeah, that's one issue I had with the character. Leon is supposed to be the only character. He's straight laced cop, the hero. I mean, Chris is supposed to be, a little bit challenged, whatever.
Chris was a marksman. That's all they really say.
Yeah.
He had a tougher road, so he was kind of rugged. Going back to Chris, some of those scenes where he took on all those zombies, sometimes he lost his ammo, he had a knife, he just had the lighter, and he does have the lighter in the movie, in the gameplay. Very good.
When he lost the lighter and he grabbed the knife, I thought of you. I was like, Rock is gonna love this part. When he grabbed the knife and he's ready to just go at him with the knife. And then Jill came in.
Hey, it was man meter time. Okay. It was man meter time. And he went straight up.
When you gotta, when you gotta react, you gotta react. Yeah. So but that's what like I mentioned before, off camera, I hope actually that they're using Leon as the character that's going to overcome so much and become the hero at the end. Actually, he was, again, spoilers abound. Watch it, don't watch it. He is the one who gets the kill shot in this movie. So he did
which pissed me off.
I had an issue with that the whole thing. I mean, out of nowhere, it's like, it's so Deus Ex Machina. It's like, oh, by the way, oh yeah, I found it in first class. Really? You found it in first class?
Hardcore gamers out there, the first Resident Evil, you play Chris, you don't got jack. You got less inventory space. You have less bullets. You have less first aid. They made it purposely. Chris has a harder road. When you finally get to the end, you cannot kill the big last boss, which ends up being Birkin. You cannot kill him. You run around for 5 minutes with as much first aid spray as you can to heal up, dodge bullets, dodge attacks. Then, maybe in the last 30 seconds or so, helicopter comes by and drops the rocket launcher, and you have 4 bullets of that rocket launcher to end it. And that's how it ends. There's artistic liberty, but I didn't think they could screw with that. Chris ends it in the bend, or Jill ends it with a rocket launcher in it. To Leon, having this punk ass who lost his gun in the prisoner, is sloppy, is probably buzzed, who has no idea what he's doing.
I like the fact, yeah, they made him a real jerk off. Pardon my language. I mean,
exactly what I said. He's a total jerk off.
He's like a jerk
loser.
Off. Yeah, a loser jerk off. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he can't get anything right. They did make Claire's character very good. I think they made her very strong. They made her the focal point of strength, and she was the first one to.
The focal point. She's the main actress. The focal point of the whole movie.
Right. They also downplayed Jill, which I didn't like.
No, they did, but they kind of had to if they want to see. I wouldn't have done because you introduce them, you introduce all the characters. I guess they did this because maybe there wouldn't be a second one. So you have to bring all the characters. So I get that. But Jill was a huge part of the first movie, which 75, 80% of the movie is based upon. Okay. Now,
You
how
know,
did
they
how did
they
you
make
feel?
Wesker less villainous.
Yeah, but how did you feel about the final form of Wesker, which was a combination of Wesker and obviously the tyrant, the final form of the tyrant, which you didn't even have the tyrant running around, chasing them down, as in part two. They just decimated all of Raccoon City.
Well, yes, because that is also canon with the video games. They had to get out of there because the contingency plan by Umbrella is it got out. They had to contain it. They can't contain it. So T minus X time 6 a.m. in the movie. It's Levelville for Raccoon City. I'm okay with that. That stays with the gameplay plot line. I think having Wesker either have the virus or not have the virus, it doesn't matter as much. They made him seem almost as though it was a money deal and he had some internal conflict, but at the end he took the money so he could get out of Raccoon City, get a new life and all this stuff. In the original gameplay and the way Wesker has been designed throughout, he's a little more sinister than that. Like he's always been a double agent.
Now, hold on. I'm going to say something and be with me, ladies and gentlemen. I might stump the rocker here. Did you see the end credit scene?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Just wanted to
now, let's get to that because I'm a big fan of surprise guest.
Well, obviously, I mean, we've been spoiling all day, so you mean you want to say?
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, actually, if you're listening to this, there's not too much of a spoiler because you know how things play out.
You played the game or the games,
Ada Wong, who is a double agent, if not a triple agent, rescues Wesker, who by right died. He's in a body bag.
Yes.
She injected him with open-ended, some form of the T virus. And there's a side effect, which is he can't see and why he wears the sunglasses. And here you go with the Wesker form, with the sunglasses, badass, juiced, super strong, super agility. Somehow the T virus will bond. It will bond with him and he become a super soldier. Exactly.
Yeah.
Having Ada Wong there was awesome because you really now you just at the end tie in a central character from Resident Evil 2, and you basically you set everything up for the sequel.
Yeah, but you changed some things in it, which I guess you changed it for the better. Ada Wong used Leon instead of using Wesker, but now you introduce Wesker was more of a, I guess, good guy in this one, as opposed to in the game. He wasn't as sinister. Maybe it's a virtue of the actor, or whatever they wanted to freaking do. So I get that.
But they kept into the storyline where William Birkin was the top researcher doing all this stuff. He gets shot. He turns into the tyrant. His wife gets killed.
Which is great because all that flooded. And then watching, I'm like, Birkin. And I'm watching certain things and I see certain, and it's coming back to me, floods right back. The dude in the Ben in the prison, who he's like,
yes,
after
he
a while,
he was in the video game.
And I'm
take
like,
me out.
It hit me till afterwards when you see the scene when he's just laying there. It's like, whoa, that's the same exact scene in the game.
Which is why I do applaud the movie and the director. I applaud them because so many video game into movies that you and I both know and we love change it drastically, that you change the core. They didn't do that. I can understand Leon. I can understand Wesker and a few minuscule things here and there. But by and large, they kept to a lot. Chief Irons was exact. This was like exact lifted from the video games.
Yeah.
He was paid. He was paid for Umbrella. He knew all the ins and outs. He knew the tunnels. He knew the way out. He was on the take, and he knew that this was going to be bad. So I'm just getting out of Dodge. He
And
packed the ball of stuff.
you got a great actor to play up. Donald Logue is awesome.
Yes. So they did get some really good actors to. I mean, actually, they had a pretty good cast for this.
They did get a pretty good cast, and let's not remiss to acknowledge director Johannes Roberts, who also wrote it, obviously in association with, Capcom and everybody else, but it's all attributed to him when he pitched this and he wanted to make a quote unquote scary movie. And look, you played the game. I didn't go into it as it being a scary film. The jump scares didn't get me. And let's be honest, when they played the game, the dogs got me. The dog did not get me this time, or the liquor, for that matter. But nonetheless, it was still pretty. It was pretty creepy. The creep factor was pretty high, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought it was well done. The mansion was well done because it was dark. It's just like how you gameplay, where you don't know where you're going. This is all new to you, all new territory. But the mansion was flooded with zombies, not like the gameplay. You got a few here and there. I mean, they came at you like hordes.
Yeah, and the zombies, they weren't your traditional Walking Dead zombies or even your Resident Evil zombies. They were kind of a cross in between your Day of the Dead, Zack Snyder quick zombies and your regular.
Well, if I may take you and the rest of our listening audience down memory lane, in Resident Evil 2.0, not the original director's cut, but in 2.0 rendition, there was what's called the redheads.
Yes.
And the redheads were like 28 Days Later zombies, faster, stronger, hard to kill. And like you couldn't just knife them and shoot them a couple of times and down them and even blow their heads off. I mean, you almost had to burn these bodies or shoot them, get them down and run. You cannot kill everybody, which is, again, I embrace that. I like that. I give all the credit in the world again that they very, very closely stuck to Resident Evil canon. Now, as opposed to the Resident Evil movies starring Mila Djokovic, who top of my list, she was super powered. Alice, super amped. They departed a lot from the video game storyline, and good for them. Kudos. They made a lot of money. They're very spectacular, but it wasn't the movie.
When you're done, I'm gonna say one thing. You done? No offense to Mila, but fuck those movies. They were garbage. Okay. Alice was a superhero. Maybe the first one, you all going to die down here or something, whatever the little girl said, pretty cool. The whole Michelle Rodriguez scene was pretty cool. And everything else, the rest of the movie.
Now, the first one was really good.
As I'm saying, the first one was,
was good. Do you remember the beehive and the hallway?
The first one was good. But all the everything else can suck it, man. I'm sorry. It was a vehicle for his wife, Paul W.S. Anderson. And they, showcase Mila, which is fine. She's awesome. But
Mila's the superstar.
But Mila is not part of the Resident Evil canon. The game was made for the character, for the player to have a difficult time. That's why the controls were so difficult. If you guys don't understand, you need to go back and get a PS1, whatever. And you went up is down, and it was.
I got one better for you. I'm playing it on the GameCube Wii. This is the tiniest controller on planet Earth. Okay, it's just don't play it on the Switch. Like what?
Everything is reversed, and there's very you can't jump. There's very little running. It's very limited purposely.
I think it was built that way on purpose.
Of course it was, because Soon after that, you had your Devil May Cry, your Animusha, you had other games from Capcom, which
People forget.
had
People
everything else.
forget. This is 1997, 1998.
Survival fucking horror.
There was nothing like this. Very nice. There was nothing like this prior to them coming out with this. They had cutscenes. They had beautiful cutscenes that everyone copied afterwards. It was like a mini cinematic movie. It was a meld of role playing where you had to solve puzzles. You couldn't just, I mean, there's a scene in the movie where you're looking for the key to get to the underground tunnel from the orphanage to the mansion, and they hand them the keys. Again, hardcore game players, you're gonna love this. The keys have the sword key, the heart-shaped key, all the different keys.
No, you saw the keys that Lisa gave her were those keys.
Yes. So they gave you so many sprinkles and nuggets,
Moonlight
much
Sonata.
catering.
Wesker plays Moonlight Sonata, ding, 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 ding. And I'm like,
exactly.
I'm freaking out watching it because I'm like, what the F? This is fantastic.
They are really making the effort above and beyond to cater to the hardcore fans, which there's millions of us out there.
Yes.
Enough to fuel having the movie. The gameplay is awesome. What are they up to? The 8th, 9th movie now? They have toys, they have animation, they have a lot. Which, by the way, I could do a review. The last animation of Resident Evil was horrible. So bad.
The first 2 episodes, I could not stomach it. But of course, Leon,
so bad.
A badass. Enough said.
And the other thing which I think was really brilliant that we all forgot is that it was from 1998. So when you saw the Palm Pilot, and the Palm Pilot showed the map, and it's key in the gameplay to have a map, and you do not have cell phones. You do not have, communication to that extent. You do not have all the technology you have. It's still pretty bare bones. It brought you back a little bit to like 80s, 90s horror.
Even the music. The music
was awesome.
Was set and everything. I mean, let's not get technical. I mean, it was pre-2000 music. I'm like, crush, you know, I mean, it was, and
tell me you didn't like the outfits, everything. Very, very similar.
I think Claire was pretty close. Chris was perfect.
Chris was perfect. White t-shirt, vest.
Yeah. And Wesker,
Leon was the one that's off.
Wesker was, I mean, I get it.
Wesker,
after I saw the whole thing, I get why they did it. I mean, he's a dynamic character, and obviously we know, spoilers, like I said, he survived, so he's going to be the big antagonist if they continue the series. So
Ada Wong was disappointing.
I would have, I mean, there was so many other people.
She should have had the long dress with the slit and a leather jacket.
But there's no, we don't, she probably had all that under. She does have, she wears the trench coat.
I mean, you're talking about a little wardrobe thing that could have made a huge difference. Especially, that was one of the better cut.
I mean, Jill was completely off twice. She was all over the place.
And again, Jill Valentine is a pivotal character.
It's got nothing to do with how she looks or whatever. Give her the beret. Give her the beret.
Yes, give her the beret.
I mean, and then I'm not saying you got to give her a freaking miniskirt for the second one or whatever. You know,
but she showed in the movie. In the gameplay, she showed a lot of savvy, a lot of brains.
Yes.
She did use a lockpick, which was part of the gameplay. I give her that. Okay. Otherwise, for me, a fantastic come to life of the video game of one of my top 5 video games of all times.
All right. So bottom line, give us your rating, Rocco.
I, on the Rocco scale, have to give it a 4.5 itchy tasties.
Nice. Now, that was little nugget.
Memorable.
The fans.
Iconic.
Yes. At first, I'm like, itchy tasty. I'm like, oh.
Yes.
If you sat there and you picked up every note and every little freaking thing,
every nuance,
read every little BS in the games, you know that was in one of the thing in one of the journals. Itchy Tasty.
I couldn't give it 5 full itchy tasties because there's 2 major things left out. And I'm not looking at Wesker and Leon anymore. Where's the herb?
I thought about it. I mean,
That's a big deal.
but how can you? But how can you? I thought about maybe they can do like
A
an
quick
old,
journal that says about the herbs, and then you have a mixture together somewhere. Maybe Chris gets bitten and in that melee, and he finds it and he takes it, feels better.
and he goes instead of going.
I mean, they showed the liquor from number 2, but how about the big bad, the
hunter.
hunters?
Yes.
Exactly. They needed to show. I mean, if you're gonna show the liquor, you got to show a hunter in the mansion.
Well, they probably saving the hunter for the sequel.
I know,
spiders,
but again,
they didn't show the cobra. You didn't show the freaking.
I know.
Even though they mentioned the sharks,
the plan.
You actually mentioned the sharks, and she was like, "Oh, would you rather be eaten by a big snake or
I know.
shark?"
So I know they're pressed for time, and like you said, there's going to be a sequel, and I'm sure everything that they omitted, they're going to put
No, I don't
there.
think it will be. I mean, people did not see this movie.
I know 30 million,
and a lot of people did not like it. Now,
and I don't know why they liked it, because if it can't be about gameplay and storyline, because it's closer than a lot of video game to movies.
But a lot of people, let's be honest, and this is where I'm gonna get some flack, and I apologize.
I'm
gonna feel a little ageist here for a second. Unfortunately, the fans of the game came out, what, 1998, 1996, Biohazard came out, so between 96 and 98. Now, you have a certain generation who played that game. The generation now, they don't give a fuck about that game. It's slow, plotting. It doesn't. Which, in essence, that's the complaint of the movie. I saw the reviews. That's the complaint of the movie, the fact that it was slow paced and it did not have that.
Well, that's what some people say.
Okay, so that's a big issue there.
And?
Oh, I'm sorry. I know. I lost my thought here. Go
and
on.
Your bottom, the bottom line.
No, go on. It'll come back to me.
All right. So, how then do you end up? What do you rate this?
It's tough because I like so much of it, yet there was so much that I did not like of it. I'm going to give it 3 zombie bites out of 5. I'm leaning more towards 2.5 out of 5, but I liked enough out of it to give it 3.
Wow, that hurts. That hurts. Look, I got no arms. That hurts.
No, I see that. You know what?
But by the way, not to go on eBay, but this is the original Chris. I will find the arms. The original Chris right there.
Well, I have Chris, I have Jill, I have the Hunter, I have the Tyrant.
Oh, I have Ada, I have William Birkin, I have almost all.
No, I don't have all of them. I stopped.
I have the spiders. Remember the spiders? I have the spiders.
I do have the spiders.
I have a couple of Cerebuses running around. All right. So Izzy did not like it as much as me, although we both did travel down memory lane and extremely enjoyed that travel. I would recommend it. I would tell you, yes, if you don't know the video game, it's not the greatest movie on earth, but because it has ties to me and some of the best gameplay I've had, I do give it a higher mark. I still would highly recommend it. And I hope to God somehow they get funded for at least a sequel.
Yes. Bottom line, they should have put this on Netflix. I think it would have been more successful, would have had a lot more viewers, and you would have been all ready for a sequel. Okay, because some of the shit that Netflix has is pretty freaking awful. And this is better than 90% of the stuff that Netflix puts out original. Okay. And some of the stuff I liked, like Night Teeth and
Oh no, I will shortly. A review of My Name is coming out. I thoroughly enjoyed that. They have delved deep into anime and a lot of Korean drama. They do try their hand at horror, suspense, and some fantasy. They're a little behind the times in action movies and adventures. They usually pull old movies for like a 30-day contract or something.
well, yeah, but I mean
And I understand they do what they
I'm talking
can.
about I'm talking about original stuff that they either
I
bring
agree.
or they produce themselves.
Well, they went with Army of the Dead, which I thought this actually was a better movie than that.
See, but that's what I was saying. But that's exactly what I was saying before.
Because the storyline Army of the Dead is ridiculous.
The majority of the public would consider Army of the Dead a much better film because it was hell of a lot more action based than this one.
Then you guys go out there. You have to go outside and go buy some taste.
No. Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you.
The plot line.
But let's be honest.
The plot line in Army of the
4
Dead
minutes
was so
in,
hard.
and I think one person got bit. Let's be honest here.
All right. Well, that is our review of Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. Hope you enjoyed. If you do get to watch it, if you are a hardcore gamer, please enjoy it. I'm Raka.
I'm Izzy. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think of this movie and the games and which was better, or if you liked or disliked any of them, and if they should make a sequel to this movie. Obviously, it ended in a way that if it comes, cool. If not, cool. But we all know evil never stays dormant.
Itchy, tasty, save the whales.
Take care, guys.